So it's time to practice what you preach, or practice what I preach. So I recently did a video on the merits of the PENTAX DA 18-135 WR lens, or I guess I should be more specific, the 18-135 f3.5 to 5.6 WR lens, in regards to its versatility due to the focal range and the image quality. And then I just threw up a bunch of pictures, put a little soundtrack to it, and that was it. That was the end of the video. So my family and I actually went camping. We actually stayed in Chippewa region in Rama, Ontario. Yeah, it was very interesting. We were staying at the Black River Wild Wilderness Park, and we actually stayed in a teepee. It was quite interesting. Very, very beautiful location. But anyway, I brought the K3 Mark III with me, along with the DA Star 1650 f2.8 PLM and the DA 18-135 3.5 to 5.6 WR. Most of the images were done with the 18-135, and I'm just going to show the images that I got, explain, why I took what I did, what I was looking for, what I was going for in regards to the actual images, and camera settings, all that fun stuff. And this should give you an absolute clear direction on the capabilities of the DA 18-135 f3.5 to 5.6 WR. It is a fantastic all-around, just grab the one lens and just walk around with it. You can shoot a number of different things, landscapes to portraits to street to birds in flight to, pseudo macro, super close up kind of thing. If you crop in a bit, you can actually get pretty much macro. Yeah, so let's just get on to what I captured during our adventure. So here's one of the very first images that I took. This was done with the DA Star 16 to 50 f2.8 PLM. Using a Neewer ND2 to ND32 variable ND filter. I just wanted to kind of smooth out the water. This was not done on a tripod, it was done handheld. It is a slight bit blurred, maybe went a little bit too slow for hand holding, but it is what it is. So that's the 16 millimeter focal length look with smoothed out water, and this as well was again with the DA Star 1650 f2.8 PLM with the Neewer ND variable filter. And yeah, it is a bit blurred. There was some wind and the shutter speed was a bit too slow. So, at the very edge along here, you do see that's all blurred. This isn't too bad though. But overall it is slightly blurred. Maybe my hand shook a little bit. It's a bit too slow for the ibis to take place in combat. Now this, I wanted to just get an overall view of just all the varying lighting and the colors and the water and just the ambience of the scenery as it would be anywhere you walked in the whole wilderness park. It was absolutely beautiful. So this was with the DA 18-135 WR. And as you can see, there's a lot of shadows, there's highlights, just the mist in the background from the water, just the haze. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful being out there. Like literally everywhere you looked, just along this river. And this river runs through the entirety of the park. So even along there's a path that you can walk down, a wilderness path, and a wilderness trail. There's various levels of hiking available to you. Some of them you have to jump from rock to rock. Others is just very nice and smooth, different degrees of experience. But again, this really does illustrate just the beauty of this place. The water is so clean. And this here, I thought this was interesting. This tree was leaking sap all down here, and there were a gazillion ants, huge ants, all in here. But the one thing was I couldn't figure out which one I liked better, this image or this image. And they were both shot at 1/15 of a second handheld. As I said, I did not bring a tripod whatsoever. I do think the black and white one for the texture of the tree looks fantastic. However, you kind of lose that contrast with like the sap and how dark that is. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I do like this high contrast black and white kind of look though. And this is where we were actually staying. So that is our teepee and our food tent, which as you can see is kind of strung up to a tree because some of these poles broke so it wouldn't stand up on its own. So this was at 18 millimeters at ISO 1600, 1/100th of a second, again handheld. And the shots were done at f8. And here is I believe it's a black jewel wing damselfly. This was at 135 millimeters, not quite at minimum focus distance, 1/200th of a second at ISO 250. So as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of versatility with this lens in regards to the amount of variety that you can shoot. Let's see, and then here again, 18 millimeters, ISO 320 at 1/200th of a second. Again, just showing, just like it's literally called Black River, and you can see the water looks black. It's crazy. Like underneath, I guess it's so dark, the water just comes out looking black. But absolutely beautiful, beautiful scenery all throughout. And here you can kind of see under the water here, just a tad bit. It's got a nice reflection along here. The water is fairly smooth. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And here's my wife and my daughter doing tubing. You can actually just go in and the river will just take you all the way throughout the entirety of the park. So this was shot at 135. And I wanted to do it so I was shooting through the trees to show like there is a lot of tree area. And then you have this nice relaxing scene behind the trees in the water with the tubing. I just thought it was a different composition. Wanted to try something out. And this was shot at 135 millimeters at ISO 640 at 1/200th of a second. And I'm losing my speech ability. Again, my wife and my daughter doing the tubing. So they came from down here and coming around here, and then they're going to be snaking down this way. So it was quite interesting. And here's the exact same scene. And this was shot at 48 millimeters. So ISO 400 at 1/200th of a second. So you can see how big of a difference this actually makes, right? So that's 135 and then that's 48. And I could have gone even wider, but there was some stuff here and this just would have been super distracting. But this gives a very good idea of just the range of different styles of composition that you can achieve with a lens such as an 18 to 135. And this is another example of the pseudo macro, super close. This was at 1/13th of a second at ISO 1000, all the way at 135 millimeters at pretty much absolute minimum focal distance. So this ant right here, and that is basically, I mean, that's really all there is to say. I mean, just the versatility is absolutely phenomenal. And here, this was at 1/13th of a second. This is just as the sun was starting to go down at 31 millimeters at ISO 125. So I wanted to get that smooth stream flame kind of look, and you can see the smoke and everything. Just kind of makes it feel a bit more alive. Yeah, and then we had some surprise visitors. Just all of a sudden, this massive amount of Canada geese, or as we call them, cobra chickens, just showed up out of nowhere. And these were two other campsites right by ours with two other teepees. And there's only the 3 teepees, the locations that we were able to find. Now, inside the teepee, it actually is on the ground. There's no tarp underneath or anything. You're literally going to be laying directly on the ground itself. It was different, and the top is open. Rain was only an issue because the rain was actually dripping down along the wooden poles here. So the rainwater would get caught in here and then trickle down into the teepee and then just randomly drip wherever. So yeah, it did rain. We got wet, but you live and learn, right? And this was shot at 135 millimeters at 1/160th of a second at ISO 400. And then I widened it out a bit at 53 millimeters, ISO 160, sorry, ISO 12, wow, I can't speak. ISO 125 at 1/160th of a second. And I wanted to show just how many of these Canada geese all along this line here, all the way up to the very, very end, how many there actually were. So kind of, I re-cropped this so it's more of a panorama, even though it is a single image. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And there you go. That is the PENTAX DA 18 to 135 WR in an out on the field adventure setting where you can get all different types of focal lengths and different compositions, and the close focusing distance is stellar on that lens, especially at 135. It's extremely versatile. I actually think it's more versatile than a lot of people realize, if they haven't fully utilized everything that the lens is capable of. And I must be really tired. I'm having trouble speaking. But anyway, that's it for this video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you have not already, please do subscribe. Always helps out. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you have any suggestions on things you'd like to see in a video, can't promise that it'll happen, but I'll entertain it. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to support the channel, that info's down there in the description as well. That's it. I'm going to go. You will see me in my next video. I'm out.